So in this video we're actually going to start making things for this Maserati. If you watched the first one, I discussed various bits I had to make for it, the trim and so on, but you know, this time we're going to start showing how some of it's made. So we're going to start off with one of these. This is a little receiver. This takes one of these wedges, these little rubber wedges. These go on the bottom of the door, and as the door shuts, it locates in here. That will stop the door moving up and down, putting a strain on the striker and the door lock mechanism. And here we have one that I made before, so you can see this is what we're trying to achieve. And yeah, that's one I made as well. So that's what that is. What we use is some brass sheet. So this is 1mm brass sheet, and that's what we'll start with. And from that, we want to end up with that. Obviously it won't be silver, that's been chrome plated, which this will get done when it's finished. So let's go and have a look, see what we can do. Okay. Right, how's that look? Okay. So it looks like we split it here, so it shows how easy it is to overwork it. Well, I think I'll carry on with this for a bit, you know, use it as a test piece. I think it's, you know, you might have to run a few of these out to get a good one. But anyway, got plenty of material, so I'm sure we can. Yeah. Let's see how we get on. Okay, yeah. So this was one I did before without annealing, and it obviously gave up here on this piece here. But we were working quite well into these corners. But this one we've lost it in here, so obviously I've overworked it there. So we'll have to be aware of that a bit. Maybe I tried too much to get it, you know, tried to move too much metal and it got too thin. But anyway, we'll see. There's an original one that we're looking at. As I say, these are stamped out. We've talked about this before, the markings where you can see where they're stamped out. So you'd have that affair, and then you'd have a female would clamp down onto it. So press down into it like that. And that's how these would be made, not hand chased in. But anyway, we'll see. And these are a couple from before, which we talked about in the earlier video. So yeah, they come out well. So it can be done. I've obviously done it before. Obviously today it's not going according to plan. But there we are. That's what it takes. Patience. So I think we need to chase this over a block to try and get this straightened out a bit. I think we'll ignore that. I could actually silver solder that up. So maybe, actually, let's do that. Let's try and repair this one, see if we can salvage it, just for the sake of it. Really, just to see if it is workable. So yeah, I reckon that's the way we'll go with this. So next up we need to use a block to tidy up these edges. You can see what we're sort of trying to get. Trying to get this sort of shape here to look about right. Now this is why this is angled. So this piece is 2 bits of plate. You can see the weld. Tip it back to get that angle, because that's to sit at that angle. It's not a 90. And then this piece I carved out of a bit of stock, and that's actually been recessed into here. But we'll have another look at that properly later on. Okay, let's find a block to work that over. Right, need a Sharpie now to mark this out. So I think I'm going to mark this out, cut it roughly to size, and then we'll work out sorting out these dimples in here. We'll do that, and as I say, when it's finished, I think we'll silver solder that up, fire it up, and see what we got, just so we can resurrect it. Really, I mean, you know, I guess in the day when these were made at the factory, pressed out, so it'd be fine, but similar things that were made by hand, if you had a little mess up like that, you probably would do a quick repair on it, you know, because once it's chromed you'll never know it's been done. So in you know, light of efficiency, they're not going to waste 20 minutes making this and then start again. They'll probably just do a quick repair and that's it, and that would be good enough, I'm sure, because no one would ever know. But anyway, let's carry on. Right, that gives us something to work with. So we're not doing too bad. Oh, that'd be yourself wondering when I'm coming home. And that's where this one comes in. So we've got the dimples here, and these will help form them. So we're going to, effectively that's got to sit over there. We're going to make a couple of holes to allow these to go into those dimples. So let's get an idea of where they've got to go. Probably best to just start them off with a little chaser and then unpunch a hole, and then I can use these to set them. So something like that. Let's get a Whitney punch, punch some holes. Right, Whitney punch, gonna have to change it, got the wrong size in there, always the way. Do that in a minute. First step's find something to chase them in with. So we probably want to hold that still whilst we're doing that, so let's clamp that to the bench. Right, let's change that to the right size and then we can get that sorted out. Now these will stretch a bit, these, so it doesn't matter that's slightly undersized. In fact we want it undersized because, as I say, they'll stretch out a bit when we do them. When I chase it further in, or rather when these do the job of clamping it in. Right, so the idea, punch these out, we want them right in the middle of that dimple, so they're in about the right place like that. Let's have a see how we're getting on. Right, I reckon that'll work. Let's see how we get on. Right, so we've got to get these through here, start these threads. It looks like we're over a bit on that, but anyway, it won't matter, it'll all come right. let's get a file, just take the edges off, but I don't know how it looks too bad. We've sort of got what we're looking for, but you know, a bit of finesse, a bit of more working on this harder, I reckon we can get that a lot better. We need to sharpen these edges up here a bit. We could still do that, we could work that over here and sharpen them up, but let's just take a file to it, just get it roughly there, and I might just run it over the polishing rock quickly, see what we got, just to give us an idea of what we got and how good it could look. So you can see all these little dimply bits that we need to sort out, but that can be done. I mean, some of that could be just linished up on a bit of production paper, but you know, we'd all like to get it better than that before we even muck around like that. But yeah, we sort of, you know, that's gonna do it. That's gonna do it, but it isn't quite as nice as I'd like to get it. A bit more finesse, I think. Yeah, so you can see this edge. This edge is going to need a little bit of work, isn't it? But we can do that. We can do that on the block. Not on there, because you'll end up transferring that little divot into it. But you know, on a sharper block we could do something with that. I think we'll do something with that. I think that'll be okay. Well, a bit more work, but that doesn't take too long really to get there. But as I say, make the tooling first. That's what you need. Without that, you can't do any of this. And it's working out how to do that is really the jumping off point. Okay, I think that'll do for now. A bit more finesse on that, and we'll see about a bit of silver soldier, see if we can sort that out. But I reckon we're not far off. So that's the factory one. That's the one I've done before. And that's what we're mucking about with today. So not too bad, I reckon. And on the car, you barely see it. You know, the idea is you don't even notice it's been done. You know, the idea is it's there and no one even thinks about it. But that's the plan. But I think we're not far off with that. And bear in mind that, you know, a lot of work comes out when they're polished. They do a lot of, they will linish it up a bit and they'll get rid of some of the marks and things. So you will get a better result. Even if I gave them that, they'd fill that for me with a bit of lead, a bit of solder. And they'd sort it out. I could give that to my platers and that would come out like that, which is great, you know, and again, you know, ain't far off, is it? So it could be sharper in the corners. We need to be careful about splitting it. Not sure about that. Overwork that a bit, maybe just because we're trying to do it whilst we're filming. But anyway, and when I made those, it would have been nearly this time last year. It was that long ago, and I haven't made any since. So forgive me for having to get up to speed with them a bit. But there we are. How's that for now? Okay, just run that over the polishing mop and it's come out quite nice. Probably can't see, but you know, this is where we've done the little bits that were split, silver solder. Really, I've done that just to show that we could resurrect this. It can be salvaged rather than scrapping it. I probably won't bother to get this chrome plated. I'll probably use this as a test piece, just something to show customers what can be done. I'd like it nicer than that, to be honest. But, you know, sometimes you have to make a few of these to get one good one. It's part of the process. Getting up to speed with something is part, it's almost like a warm-up, you know, like an athlete. That's a warm-up, you know, it's what it's like. You can't always get it straight away. But I wanted to do that little bit of silver shouldering really to show that things can be repaired if necessary, and there's ways round problems. You know, it's not always about, oh, throw it away, start again. It's sometimes, you know, what you're working with is fairly precious. You want to reuse the material. You don't want to scrap it. Sometimes you don't want to waste the time. So I just thought, just for the sake of showing that you can bring things back, but this would need a little bit more work. I've got a bit more trimming to do to get it about right, but you know, it's quite nice. You know, it's all right. And if you bear in mind that that has come from that, so we started with that, we're finishing with that. Send it off to the platers, it'll end up looking like that. It will be beautiful, and on the car, no one will ever know it wasn't done in Modena 50, 60 years ago. So I'm pleased. That'll do. And that's one of the bits. Got a few more videos like this of all the other stuff, if you can bear with me and you're not too bored. Anyway, that'll do for now. Okay, let's call it a day.